good morning from the sports desk. Yeah, good question, G-Dog. Can you actually believe it? In fact, some of Novak Djokovic's fans, I was having a conversation with one of our colleagues from our sister station, YFM now, who is quite incensed at the fact that Novak Djokovic cannot get to Grand Slam number 24. But nevertheless, the changing of the guard is happening. Spain's Carlos Alcaraz Garcia becoming the third youngest winner of the men's title at Wimbledon. He dethroned Djokovic in a thrilling five-setter on Sunday afternoon. The 20-year-old confirming his status as the best men's tennis player in the world by capturing his second Grand Slam title, this after winning last year's US Open. Now, joining me now via Zoom is tennis analyst Bruce Davidson to talk about the rising star that is Alcaraz Garcia and all things tennis. Bruce, a very good morning to you. Thank you so much for your time. There are a couple of Novak Djokovic fans who are not happy at the fact that Carlos Alcaraz Garcia has denied him record-extending Grand Slam number 24, but the changing of the guard, I think, is important. We've long spoken about the four horsemen, essentially, if one can call them that being Novak Djokovic, Rafael Nadal, Roger Federer, and Andy Murray. Alcaraz Garcia, a breath of fresh air, you would say?
Yes, definitely. I mean, he's been around for a while now. He's only 20 years old, but he exploded onto the scene when he was 18 years old. And we do know that he has been a big threat to the reign of that top three legendary combination of Nadal, Djokovic, and of course Federer. And the mere fact that he's world number one, he came into this tournament as the top seed, and it wasn't a surprise to me. I called this match from the beginning. I knew it was going to be a tough one. If they played in the final, it was going to be 5 sets because that centre court is owned by Novak Djokovic. He was going for his 8th Wimbledon title, which would have been a record. He would have also be going for his 24th Grand Slam overall title. So it was going to be a tough and tall task. But when Alcaraz played Queens, and he won Queens, the biggest warm-up grass court tournament before Wimbledon, and he won it in such fine style, that was the warning to all the top players that the man had arrived on the grass. And yes, the changing of the guard has taken place, but it has been coming, and it's going to be interesting to see how the rivalry grows.
What is it that Alcaraz Garcia is doing right that Daniil Medvedev, Dominic Thiem at one point, Stefanos Tsitsipas, Alexander Zverev, and I would say maybe even a Marin Cilic or a Stanislas Wawrinka have failed to do? What is it that he's now, what secret has he found to ensure that we now not necessarily stop talking about the Super 3 that are sitting with more than 20 Grand Slams, but that we now look at new talent and we start embracing the new talent? What is the Spaniard doing?
Right, first of all, he's a very, very explosive player. He isn't dramatic, he's just explosive. We don't hear too much about what's going on off the court with Alcaraz. He gets on with the job. He's very well built for the game. He's fast and furious around the court. And he's got a little bit of Nadal, who's his big hero. He's got a bit of Djokovic, and he's got a bit of Federer in his game. So he's got a perfect mix in order for him to be this dominant world number one. But the big thing is his explosive power. We saw that against Djokovic, where he managed to work Djokovic into a situation and use that big forehand to just blow Djokovic away. He's quick, he's fast, he gets to more balls than most players. And he's just the most likable, humble guy. I mean, he's almost like another Nadal with a little bit of firepower in him.
Ons Jabeur, Bruce, I mean, I think a lot of Africans, myself included, are getting tired of speaking about her as the bridesmaid and not the bride. US Open, Wimbledon, and Wimbledon again. She knows how to get to the final. She just doesn't know how to win the championship. What is she getting wrong?
She's her own worst enemy. She's just got to get over the nerves. She's got to get her mental game right. She was just playing such good tennis going into that final, but she wasn't playing good tennis in the final. She started off slowly, and when you're playing an unseeded player like Vondrousova, who's just going to go out there and hit wildly, has got nothing to lose. She's unseeded. She wasn't expected to be there. She knew that Ons Jabeur had all the pressure. People love Ons Jabeur. She's just the most wonderful woman, and the whole crowd loved her and wanted her to win. That was just so much pressure. But I think she's going to get a few Grand Slams. You learn from these bridesmaid occasions, and you eventually want to be the bride. And I think, she's now learned a very hard way, because she was really ready for this final. But when she started off and I was watching her, I felt she was a little bit nervous. She's a little bit tentative. And unfortunately, you can't be like that in the final of a Grand Slam. You've got to come out there firing, and you've got to take control from the start.
Look, she knows, as I said, how to get to a Grand Slam final. We can only but hope that she makes the final again at Flushing Meadows, and this time picks up her maiden Grand Slam title. Bruce, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us and just talking to us about what it is we've witnessed for the last 2 weeks at SW19. That is tennis expert Bruce Davidson talking to us about Wimbledon, which concluded yesterday with that exciting final between arguably the greatest men's tennis player of all time, Novak Djokovic, and the man that is changing the guard, Carlos Alcaraz Garcia. That's where